50 things you weren't supposed to see, according to Reddit. Number 50. My teacher shoving a flask into the desk drawer when I came in unexpectedly. Well, that's one way to make it through class. Number 49. I was bartending and it was slow. I was putting away glasses by the only two people sitting at the bar. They seemed a new couple, very touchy, etc. At some point I noticed that she was wearing a wedding ring, and he was not. Right as the music died down between songs, he turned to her and said, "You know they're going to ask you where you were when he drowned." And I noped the fuck out of there real damn quick. Dude, this got juicy 2 entries in. You know they're going to ask you where you were when he drowned? Can you imagine they had something to do with, like, getting rid of the, oh my god. Oh my god. Number 48, man. I stumbled across a major case of fraud in my company. The owner's son, let's call him Jay, was recently released from jail and needed to find adequate housing for himself to be able to be paroled. Someone in my company, I don't know who, went into QuickBooks and edited 4 weeks of paychecks for an employee, let's call them K, to make it look like they belonged to Jay. I only found out because Jay had asked if I could scan and email them to the potential landlord. I didn't really think twice about it at first, but after talking to the bookkeeper and realizing that things weren't adding up, I went in to take a look and discovered what was done. I forwarded a copy of the forged checks to my personal email through the work email, but other than that, I don't know how to handle the situation. Saying anything at all could result in me losing this job, and I sure as shit cannot afford to not be working or making any less than what I make right now. Well, looks like you're between a rock and a nasty pussy. You know what I'm talking about? Hashtag between a rock and a nasty pussy. That's the new phrase, guys. Number 47 on the list of 50 things you weren't supposed to see reads as follows. This isn't a particularly scandalous story, but I think it's amusing. My dad is a carpenter, and I used to come with him on installations to help out. One time we were putting in a cabinet for this nice Jewish couple inside their study. I was walking by the computer on the desk, and I couldn't help but notice the open web page on it. Oi, what a deal.com. Is this some kind of Jewish-only subscription service that will make you aware of... Oh my god. Sorry, my brain needed more oxygen when I, yeah. Wow. Oi, what a deal. Oi, schmeckle. Shield bop on your schmeckle, boy. A response to this reads, I looked it up. It wants me to confirm my city, with the only option being Detroit. Then it asks for my email. No explanation or details given. I'm too scared to proceed any further. Somebody says, I'm still waiting. Somebody said, keep waiting. The last deals were in 2013. Okay. Number 46 on the list of things you weren't supposed to see. I used to do a little work after school at a local comic shop. One day after school, I was bagging comics when the owner's buddy came in. Look at these. Came out great. He had a stack of glossy amateur porn featuring the shop owner, his buddy, and the owner's wife fucking. Okay. He laid them out all over the counter, and they started pawing through the stack excitedly. From what I could see, it looked like 3 of them enjoyed one another's company equally and vigorously. Then they noticed I was there. I got sent home early with a stack of free comics. Oh my god. Bing bong, dude. Somebody said win-win. Depends on what you were looking at with those shop people. Ugh. Number 45. My dad texted to a woman when I was 12. He handed me his phone to use if I got in trouble, and he changed the SIM but forgot to delete the phone storage, so I saw all the texts. I would always see him closing Facebook chats, and he used to sit in my tree house on the phone for hours every evening. He told me he went to holiday to sort out a property he had abroad, but he went with this woman. They broke up, and he forced me to tell him my Facebook password so he can ensure my privacy for strangers. He blocked the woman on Facebook on my computer. My mother had a brain aneurysm stroke the year before. They were still married, and I didn't know what was going on. It made me feel sick. Oh. He knew this woman from school, and I hope he never cheated on my mother with her before the accident. Why just before, man? Oh, that's so sad. Life is so sad. But he most definitely cheated. You know what I mean? He was bing bonging his hoe. It ain't worth his time if she ain't putting that slizzle on a wicked damn. You know what I'm talking about? A response says, "You are not alone." I found out at the age of 20 that my mom had started working the night shift. Private dancer for money. You don't have to put on the red light. My dad would be on his phone constantly. One night he came home and talked to someone all the way through dinner. I don't know if he thought I couldn't hear his headphones or what. One evening, I went to use my parents' bathroom and saw my dad's phone open to a message. It said something along the lines of, "I miss you so much," but wasn't my mom's name. I'm the one who had to tell my mom, oh man, damn. Had to hold her. She cried and had to face my dad when he came home. I thought he was going to hit me. I locked myself in my room for days, only to come out when he was at work. They stayed together. I never had the same relationship with my mother or my father, and went to therapy for months. Ooh, he sounds like a dick. And then the girl says he was a dick, but he does have his moments. I've definitely learned what not to do when I have kids from him, but he also taught me a lot when I was younger. Now, you know, I'm one of these slimeball Redditors, and I'm not going to pretend that whenever I see a girl on Reddit that we're not going to go ahead and browse by her top entries just to see what she's going on. One of her top entries says, "Our wedding." Okay. I'm back to vent. So mine and FDH's wedding is on Thursday. We went from a small, simple courthouse wedding to extended family. We see maybe once a month. I'm pissed. She cornered my fiance to yell at him about not inviting his grandmother. We had no intention of inviting extended family. She decided to call grandma and invite her for us. Once grandma found out we hadn't invited her in the first place, she got super upset at me. So now grandma is super upset with us. Well, all right. That's your lives, guys. That is your life. You didn't invite me to the wedding? I'm married. I'm married. And I'm angry now. Oh my God. Fucking people. As we continue along on the list of things you weren't supposed to see, number 44 reads as follows. My friend's significant other's boobs. Oh, how did you just accidentally see that? Like on a phone? I went swimming and her top came completely off for a second. Oh, well, that's nice. It's not the end of the world. Somebody said I used to work in hotel room service. This used to happen a lot. People order a sandwich and think the up to 45 minutes means I'll take 45 minutes. They then run a bath or something and answer the door half naked. The one that sticks in my mind was a 20-something businesswoman I'd built up a bit of a rapport with, nice but always working, quite serious and dressed quite conservatively. I was shocked when she opened the door half naked, and I could not only see that she had her nipples pierced, but was covered in tattoos. She did not seem like the type. And somebody else goes, nice. Look, guys, don't think that it's not some people's fetish to be a little bit of an exhibitionist as far as like getting people involved in their ridiculous crap. The thing is, some people are definitely trying to watch, so it's a shame that, I don't know, they don't cam out or do something crazy like that, because a lot of people are trying to see, you know what I mean? I'm trying to see. Bing bong, Jeez. You girls and hiding your boobs. And tattoos. What's the point of you getting tattoos and not showing them off? Come on now. What is the point? Number 43 on the list of things you weren't supposed to see. I want to see them titties, but, apparently we're not supposed to see them. Number 43, I worked at a FedEx Express when I was getting my bachelor's degree. Was one of the first people there ever. Let's try that again. Was one of the first people there every morning since I was a handler and would help unload our giant metal cans off of a semi-truck. Yeah. And I thought I was the only one talking about cans. You see what I did there? Each can was stuffed full of packages. I want to put my packages between them cans, you know what I'm talking about? Well, I would set up a scanner in order to scan damaged packages so our station wouldn't get charged for it since it was damaged before it arrived. I'll tell you what, I'm a damage when it arrived. I'm kidding. I'll tell you what I damage when it arrives. One morning, my manager, who was an alcoholic and a pillhead, oh no, had me scan these large bags going to the VA. Said it was in case shit went missing, or was missing. These bags were closed with a Velcro strap around the top, so they weren't very secured. These giant bags were full of pills. Oh. And it never occurred to me that anything was wrong. Well, one morning I arrived a little earlier than normal and was setting stuff up when I heard a tearing sound. It was Velcro coming apart. I didn't think anything about it, and I kept working. After about another 5 minutes, I heard a thud and looked up to see the manager come around the corner of the can and place a VA bag back onto the ground and walk off. He didn't notice I was there since I was in between two trucks in the warehouse. After seeing that, it made sense why he wanted me to scan the bags now. The fucker was and had been stealing pain medication out of the veterans hospital's bags and using them for his own addiction. I brought it up to a coworker that had worked there forever, in which she told me to just ignore it unless I had hard evidence like a video or actually seeing him digging in the bag. If I had anything less and accused him of it, I'd surely be fired since HR gave zero shits about its employees and only protected the managers. That's sound advice coming from your female coworker. She knows what's up. She been there a long time, you know what I'm talking about? She knows some things. She been around the block. Somebody else says, this is bizarre. I can't imagine that the pills could be shipped in anything less than a tamper-proof container. I always figured the procedure would be similar to how many companies move cash around in thick plastic bags that are numbered with matching seals. Someone else says, veteran here. VA mails me pills in an opaque Ziploc bag with adhesive instead of zip mechanisms. No padding, easily tearable. That's how you open it. And is just loose bottles of pills shaking around inside. Somebody else said, thank you for your service. That's great. Oh man. Guys, I love you. Let's proceed. Number 42 on the list of things that you shouldn't have seen. I worked at a fancy health food restaurant years ago. One day I was early and saw the owner mixing his homemade cold pressed garlic aioli. It was Cisco mayonnaise and a big jar of minced garlic. If any of you have worked where you guys actually know the difference between SYSCO and Cisco, CISCO, which is another company that makes networking shit, then this joke will be particularly amusing to you, because somebody, after correcting the person who made that error, responded saying Cisco, spelled SISQO, makes the thong song. You know, let me see that thong. Now, who was that for, you know? When did the thong song come out now? Come on now. Number 41, opposite side. I got married toward the end of law school, and after graduating, stayed with my parents for a few months while I prepped for the bar exam. My wife and I were fooling around when my then 18-year-old brother opened the door and walked in to a perfect shot of us spread eagle touching each other's bits. That was the last time that door was unlocked. You guys wanted them to see who does this crap with unlocked doors. And that's what the next response reads. Who has sex in, their parents' house with unlocked doors? That's protocol number 1 for sex in folks' homes, rookie. And then a girl answers, maybe it's a gay man because their name is Queen, says, personally speaking, I was never to have my bedroom door closed growing up unless I was changing. It didn't matter what age I was. My mom threatened to remove the door when I wanted peace and quiet. Once I had it closed, I actually live with my future in-laws currently, and at first it weirded me out because they give us all the privacy and don't bug us for shit. They don't come into our room whatsoever. We could probably die in there, and they'd have no idea until our bodies started smelling. That's what I'm talking about. Don't bother people. Number 40. When I was 8 or so, my old nanny/babysitter was showing me a video of her time with her boyfriend in Paris. After it blacks out for a few seconds, it suddenly cuts to her lying on her hotel bed, completely naked, legs spread, telling her boyfriend to come get it. She jumps out of her seat, tries to cover my eyes, and told me to never tell anyone. I have now told potentially thousands of random strangers. I hope those biddies were tickling, you know what I mean? I hope those bits were of the tiggle variety, you know. Number 39 on the list of 50 things you weren't supposed to see reads as follows. In middle school, we had a class trip to the countryside where we stayed at a fancy historical manor. There were about 50 students and 5 chaperones present. The boy-girl ratio was roughly the same, so we basically divided the manor into boy and girl halves, each with chaperones. One of the nights, I got up to go to the bathroom and walked across a long hallway which had lots of windows. From a certain point, I could see into the room where one of the female chaperones slept. She wasn't super hot or anything, but she was reasonably attractive and fairly young. That's a good combination. I saw her looking out of the window and smoking a cigarette while she was topless. This was the first time in my life I'd seen real life movies, so I just stood there transfixed. She couldn't see me because the hallway was totally dark, so she just kept on smoking and being lost in thought. One of the male chaperones heard me leave, so after a while he got worried that maybe I had gotten lost or was trying to sneak into the girl's half. He came looking for me, and when he found me in the hallway, he also saw her just standing there. We both exchanged looks. He grinned and said, "Wow." Then I proceeded to use the bathroom and went back to bed. On my way back, she had already retreated into her room. Of course, being a middle school boy, I told my friends the following morning, but at the request of the male chaperone, I left out the part where he also saw her. I became an instant hero and was made to retell the story in extreme detail for days to come. The following night, a few of the boys tried sneaking out too to get a peek, but the male chaperone was probably expecting this and basically made sure that they just went to the bathroom and weren't idling around to catch a peep. Oh, hey guys, I gotta use the bathroom. Yeah, I'm talking about. Oh boy. You know, this reminds me of a story in a recent confession podcast where A story was shared about a lunch lady who had an affair with a young student. And we were all thinking to ourselves, like, oh, young, like high school young. No, dude, it was a middle schooler. A lunch lady in her 40s let a middle schooler bang her, okay? And she was married and everything, and it was just disgusting. Oh man, that was quite the confession podcast though. Woo. Speaking of which, I should do one of those tonight, but I'll never make it through the rest of this list in 15 minutes. And it's 9:15 now. Number 38. Was playing at my friend's house once. His grandparents were staying in his room, and I forgot. Totally ran in on them, getting ready to have sex. It was awkward. Somebody else said, "Oh, hell yeah, Gramps. You'd hit that, brah. I'm out." You hit that, brah. Number 37. Not me, but a coworker several months before I started at the company. Big boss man comes back from a site/visit weekend at his cabin not too far from the site. Has someone burn all the photos from his camera to a CD and makes a couple of copies. One copy is with my coworker and another guy looking at the photos from the site. Suddenly the photos of the site trip ends and there are topless photos of Big Boss Man's wife at their cabin on the disc. But wait, there's a twist. Another copy of the same set of photos was currently in the boardroom PC where the Big Boss Man is showing photos to the client. My coworker doesn't know what to do, tells our lead administrative assistant. She confidently marches into the boardroom and ejects the disc, interrupting the meeting. This Big Boss Man asks, "What are you doing?" She simply says, "There's a problem with the disc," and leaves. Some of these women really know how to handle things. You know what I'm talking about? Some of these women are knowing what's up. Proud of some of these ladies in this list right now. Wow. And again, guys, how are you going to be talking about, boobage and not tell me the size? I want to hear that they're all in the double D area. Number 36. Luckily, I didn't actually see it, but when I was about 10 years old, I was awakened from sleep in our caravan by the sound of my dad having sex with my aunt. Wait a minute. Dad. My aunt. Oh my God. That's the sister. Both were drunk in other end of the caravan while my mom was passed out drunk outside. Ah, fun vacation memories. Somebody said, "I hope it was the aunt from your mom's side." And he said, "Well, of course. Do you take my family for being savage or something?" Oh my God. Oh my God. And his name's Adolf Hitler. Come on. Number 35. Some sort of spy level information swap. Oh, you really shouldn't have seen that. A couple of years ago, I was sitting on a bench in a really busy shopping street, just having a drink and just watching people, basically. At some point, a man and a woman, both dressed really classy, that kind of stood out for me, came walking down the street, both from opposite directions, and almost brushed each other when passing by. In a split second, I saw the woman passing a note. At least it looked like paper to me, to the man. They never looked at each other, didn't slow down their pace, change posture, facial expression, or anything. Just walked straight ahead on their way casually. Just when they passed each other, she slipped a note in his hand really fast and stealthily. Whatever it was pretty obvious that these two weren't meant to be seen together. The meeting was prearranged deliberately on a really busy spot, and whatever they swapped was secret. I'm very sure I wasn't supposed to have seen that, and I probably was the only person who saw that. Okay. That's the end of that. That's quite the anecdote. When we don't know what the hell was on that note, and we'll never will know, it just sucks our balls. Number 34. Went to a coworker's house to help get the scanner to work, which hasn't worked since her daughter had tried to use it a few days earlier. I tried to load the software, which would hang while trying to connect to the scanner. I tried to load the software which would hang while trying to connect to the scanner. Nigga, a quick power cycle of the scanner and the software loaded. The software defaulted to the recent scans screen. The most recent scan was the genitalia of my coworker, her daughter, or I suppose it could have been a page from a XXX magazine that just happened to be exactly what you'd see if you were squatting over the scanner. My hotkey skills were fast, so I may have Alt F4'd before she saw what I did, but once that software worked, I used a different program to perform a test scan. Easy but uncomfortable way to earn $20. Oh, sorry about that noise. Jesus Christ. Somebody else says she wanted you to see. If you took that opportunity, you would now be living with her on an island in Greece with 2 sons, 1 daughter and 2 grandchildren. Your grandchild Arthur would likely be playing football with the local kids, and Jasmine would be the kind of girl that occasionally grabs a book, but most of the time, she would take a boat and paddle out into the sea and come back a few hours later with a sunburn. You fucked up real bad here. Well, you know. That's the crazy thing about some women, is like, they are all about exhibition. But if you take things any further than where they want it to go, then, you know, scary. It's super scary. I think some of the favorite videos that I've seen online are girls that are basically just like, I don't know, they order a pizza or they're getting some sort of delivery and they're just like fully naked. And it's one thing if you're just like, oh, look, it's a naked lady with, I don't know, like your B cups or whatever, and, you know, you're pretty thin, interesting. But when you're like outrageously curvy and then like, you know, you got like this hourglass figure and your hips are ridiculous and your boobs are huge and you're just like, hey, and you're like all oiled up and all kind of crap, naturally you're going to get like a crazy reaction out of like these dudes that were definitely not expecting this. And if they want to try to, I don't know, grab or whatever, it's just nuts. It's just nuts. I've seen some really uncomfortable videos online. I could probably share them with you. Not that you'd want to, but let me describe one. There's this one where this lady is all like, she's naked and she's like a bombshell as far as I'm concerned. She's really got it going on. She's got like, you know, some pretty interesting assets. But she invites the guy in, and here's where it gets weird, okay? It's one thing if you set up a webcam and you just want to capture a reaction, you know what I mean? That's how they get down. But she invites the guy in and is like, hey, can you lotion me up? What the fuck? So you're inciting and inviting this guy into your place to put his hands on you and like, you know, lotion you up, whatever. Naturally after, the guy's like got an erection or something, right? And she's like, okay, thank you. Like she wants him to go, but he's just like, nah, you know, I'm hard. Let's see where this goes. You know what I'm talking about? And I think he's like trying to incite her to, I don't know, give him a hand job or something. And she's like, no, and all kind of stuff. And it gets like really weird and uncomfortable. But I'm just like, dude, what were you thinking? You're like, yo, were you hoping a gay man would show up? Because this is exactly what you asked for. It's one thing to just go, look at these titties, don't touch now. You know what I mean? Gotta go, blah, blah, blah. But when you're like, hey, put your hands on me and get all over, what the fuck? What the fuck? Oh my God. Number 33 on the list of things you weren't supposed to see. Be careful, ladies. Come on now. I saw a couple banging under a secluded waterfall in the woods on a hiking trip with my parents when I was 12 years old. Now that was majestic as fuck. 12 years old, man. What do you know, I'm trying to remember what 12 years old was like. What could you make of that, you know? Number 32. My dad once handed me his tablet and suggested I look at an ebook or something while we were sitting around in a theater waiting for a play to start. Don't know if I misunderstood him or what, because when I brought up his Amazon Reader app, I saw that the last book he had been reading was How to Deal with a Sexless Marriage. Or something along those lines, that poor man. Dad was very embarrassed, quickly took the tablet back, and we did not speak of what had just transpired. Another time, Dad handed me his phone and asked me to look up something for him. While we were sitting around in the living room at a family get-together, when I opened his browser up, the last page open was porn. The video began auto-playing and I frantically tried to figure out how to close the tab, but all I really managed to do was look at the video for longer than I wanted to. So I shoved the phone back at my dad and said, "You need to close the tab. I can't figure out how. I'm sorry." And once again, we did not speak of what just transpired. There were also another couple of times where I went to use his computer and there was either a bunch of porn open in his browser or some kind of porn in the CD drive. You gotta feel bad for this dad. It just sounds awful. Oh my God. Somebody said, well, on the plus side, we now know how your dad deals with a sexless marriage. Number 31. More heard than seen. I was golfing with my mother's fiance when he got a phone call. He had his call volume turned up really high, and I overheard a woman who wasn't my mother say things like, including the phrase "fucking suck" in a seductive manner. I convinced myself that it wasn't my business or that I misunderstood, and I dropped it. A few years later, her now husband was revealed to be a serial cheater with active partners numbering in the dozens. The guy says, "Yeah, I still feel like shit. Yes, they're divorced." Man, it ain't your business to jump up in other people's monkey balls, you know what I'm talking about? Besides, who are they gonna believe sometimes? Oh boy. Some people refute the truth even when it's right in their face. So you putting yourself in there, you know. You can try. I'm not saying don't try, you know. If you know, genuinely, and you want to try and save somebody from that kind of hurt or whatever, by all means, let them know. But if it's not something that they just, take the way that they're supposed to take it, do not, invest time and attention and energy into something that, should be them dealing with something the way that they're supposed to. You can't force another person to care the way that they need to. And as we saw earlier in the thing, I think somebody was cheating, and then the woman was like, "No, we gonna work this out. We're gonna stay together." And I'm like, more power to you guys. Number 30, Beavis and Butthead Do America. My parents found out. We went into that theater, and they dragged us out real quick. Oh, come on. That's so sad. That's so cute. My parents never allowed me to watch Ed, Edd n Eddy. They said bad words like stupid. Oh, God. Somebody said, did your parents also have to check parental reviews online before you watched anything? Yeah, I got made fun of a lot for that. You guys in your lives. Number 29. My mom's attempted suicide. Ooh, it's getting juicy in here. I was about 4 to 5 when she tried to hang herself from some exposed pipes we had in the bathroom. My mom and dad. Sorry, I just saw somebody attempt suicide. No, you didn't. That's not funny, guy. Oh, God. That's not funny. My mom and dad were drunk arguing all night when she went into the bathroom and things got quiet. My dad rushed in to get her down, and when he opened the door, that's the moment I decided to walk out of the bedroom and see what all the noise was about, because they were different screams than what were normal arguing sounds. The image stuck around for a while. What image, dude? Was she hanging from like a noose? Did she take a whole bunch of pills? You gotta clarify, guys. I need to know what this is and what's going on. And I guess we don't. Is somebody asking? Somebody said, I saw my dad successful hanging at 3 years old. That shit screws you up for life. I feel bad for this guy. Every time I do one of these lists, it's like my sinuses are just like, all right, men, it's time to get crazy. Number 28. Similar story of the F-117 at the top. Okay, we don't know what that is. So, as we proceed up, we will find out what that is together. As a contractor in Afghanistan working at Jalalabad. A Jalalabad. That's like the way I describe a girl who's really good in bed. Ooh, the way she laid that ass down was a Jalalabad. Oh my God, shut up and finish the list. I was a contractor in Afghanistan working at Jalalabad airfield. Okay, I woke up to take a piss and have a cigarette, he probably means. On the other side of the runway, I saw a few helicopters take off, but didn't hear anything. I thought it was strange as the base was dead silent, but didn't think too much of it. It was only later that I read the news that it was a SEAL team raid to kill bin Laden. Because of my pea-sized bladder, I was probably the first non-military or government person to see those stealth helicopters. Interesting. Quiet helicopters, that's so cool. Somebody said that's so fucking cool. I feel the same way. Number 27 reads simply, do any of you motherfuckers know how to knock? Okay, that must be some sort of just like a sideways comment about this whole list, especially as we proceed to the top on the list of 50 things you weren't supposed to see. So as we keep going on into the home stretch, number 26 reads, our cat was a little late coming home one evening, usual for him, or unusual is what it actually says. Brilliant. I went looking for him, calling his name, not massively loudly as it was late at night in a built-up area. As I walk around a corner to a car park, there he was. He looked like he was just having a bit of a chat with a fox. They looked relaxed, facing each other, sitting and chilling out. I called his name and he looked at me, seemed flustered, looked back at the fox, then me, almost as if he's saying, he's not with me, I don't know him. I called him again and he chased the fox into the bushes before trotting over to me. I'm sure I crossed an animal line. What's this cat doing chatting it up with a fox? Somebody said a similar story. Once I came home late at night when everyone else was asleep. My cat was sitting on the chair on the porch, and there were about 5 or 6 strange cats sitting in the porch or the steps, all facing him. I watched for a moment, and they seemed totally relaxed, all sitting with neutral body language. I took a step forward, they heard me and scattered in an instant, and my cat calmly asked to be let inside. He was fat, irritable, and a badass killer. I from then on assumed he was some sort of cat mafioso. This happened in New Jersey, by the way. This isn't one of your stupid little corny cats. This is a New Jersey cat. Fat mafia boss cat. Somebody said your cat was definitely the leader of a cult. Oh wait, so I'm fat and charismatic occasionally. Can I be a mob boss? I think I'd be more suited to that of a cult leader. You know what I mean? A cult leader who really needs some freaking Mucinex, apparently. Number 25, I saw Homer Simpson keychain in my mom's desk drawer and I didn't say anything. 2 weeks later, it's in my Christmas stocking and she goes, wow, how did Santa know how much you like The Simpsons? That's how I figure it out. Santa must have been sleeping with my mom. I love that, like, I actually clicked the mute button after I sneezed, so it was like, what's the damn point? What's the damn point? Did you fuck my mom, Santa? Number 24, my mom's suicide note, unused. Oh, well, she didn't go through with it. That's pretty cute, I guess. You know what I mean? A response says, that must have been really tough. I'm glad she's still alive. Hope things get better for your family. Unless she wrote it and meant for people to find it. You know what I mean? Women can be crazy. That's how they get attention. My mom... excuse me, what are you doing? You're recording right now? My mom found my father's oh my god. I need to just be streaming right now. I don't have the focus for this. My mom found my father's diary a couple of years ago, filled with plans on suicide. I never said this, but I assume he wanted her to find it. I hope you did what I did and got your mom the help she needed. Mental health problems affect so many people, and I'm sorry to hear about it, no matter where you're from. Oh my god. Dude, my stomach's starting to feel funny. Like, not even tripping. Not even lying. Not even tripping. Don't even trip, bro. Dead serious. Okay? So as we continue, Jesus, 50 things you weren't supposed to see. Why do I feel like I'm not making any progress on this list? Number 23. When I was about 5, my mom took me to the bank because she needed something out of the safety deposit box. It was right when they were opening up. They asked us to turn around while they unlocked the vault, but I peeked. According to my family lore, I went around the rest of the day chanting the numbers of the combination. Adorable. Now, number 22. An obese, greasy feller sitting fully naked on the toilet, a mix of pain and confusion and surprise on his face as I walked into his stall at Sizzler's restaurant. Stayed with me for a while, not gonna lie. Fully naked, you know what I mean? You know, you go into a bathroom in a public place, you gotta take your shirt off to have a shit. It's getting wild in there, huh? It's getting hot in here. Better take off my shirt. It's getting hot in here in the bathroom. Better take off all my clothes. I'm in the Sizzler's restaurant. Got to take my clothes. What are you doing? What are you doing? And not locking the stall door. Maybe the stall door was broke. Let's give the man the benefit of the doubt. But you taking off your top. Oh my god. Number 21, guys. What the bing bong? What the bing bong? Number 21. When I was little, my father set a password on a computer I was using for playing games. I wanted him to type the password while I was away, but to set a camera to record it, I hid it behind a pile of books. The trick was, the camera back in the day was only able to record 30 seconds, so I had to call my father and run out of the room so he could type it as quickly as possible. It stopped filming just as he hit enter. Okay, man. Number fucking 20, alright? It's starting to piss me off in here now. One Christmas Eve, I couldn't sleep at all. So I went to the kitchen to get some water or something, and out in the living room were my parents setting out presents and eating cookies I had left out. They said that Santa was running late and was in such a big hurry that he just dropped off the presents and asked them to put it out for him. Yeah, you fucking niggas and your mom's lying to you on this Santa bullshit. Get the fuck out of here. Number 19, around 2000, I was working for a large business that makes telecom/networking equipment, managing an internal project. Holiday comes around, most everyone is off doing their thing. I am in the office being Busy Beaver exempt employee. I encounter a problem pushing a very large binary blob to another site, and while troubleshooting, notice that there's some seriously high network usage happening across the switch from one particular machine. Now, I have local administrator. I'm so sorry. I feel like a monster is trying to climb out of my body right now. Now, I have a local administrator on all the machines in my department. So I log into this machine, I don't care, to find out why someone has set up against policy VPN tunnel. We're all IT programmer types, but we have proprietary IP sitting on machines. Nigga, get to the point. Oh, hey, this guy is running LimeWire off of his freaking user level account. That's not good. What is this guy thinking? Why can't he be professional? So we're logging on to write this guy up. Let me just have a look at what pirated music and movies. Oh, Jesus Christ. One of the functions of my job was to carry the bat phone, which had a direct line to an FBI office. It's child porn. Yeah. The guy had brought in a case of burned CDs full of kiddie porn and was distributing it off our network via LimeWire. I missed dinner that night and had to keep what was happening from my wife for about a week before they finally arrested him, which put a strain on our relationship. But that guy was sent off for a long time. What is he, some kind of like kiddie porn Santa Claus? You're telling me that he brought in his personal stash and was using the work computers to distribute it? Oh my bing bong, you know. Oh boy. A guy responds saying that like there should be a code word that you have with people for when you can't talk about something. You know what I mean? I might as well just read it, huh? So life pro tip, if you're working in a job that can have shit you can't talk about happen, establish a code word or phrase and then never abuse it for personal reasons. For example, wife, where the fuck are you? It's 2 a.m. and you never came home from work. The husband, sorry, my beloved, wombats ate my salad. This tells her that you are okay somewhere in Africa and will be home for tea next Sunday after showering jungle sweat and blood off insurgents off your person. Okay. If she is a suspicious type, bring something nice for them from a duty-free shop. And somebody responds, can confirm, I ate your salad. You know, aren't you glad I read that? Oh, number 18. Ben Affleck's social security number. How did you see that? Years ago, I was working for a company that I could access different department server files in. I was bored one day and was poking through those files to see what else the company had going on. I found a contract for a production deal with Ben Affleck, and the social security number was included for payroll purposes. I closed the file because I knew I should not have been looking at that, even if it was accessible. No, I didn't retain it or remember it. No, it wasn't, it would not do anything with it if I did. I don't care about his personal life. Somebody said that's exactly what I would expect a Slytherin to say because the person's username is sorted into Slytherin. I think I might die trying to finish this list. Number 17 on the list of 50 things that you weren't supposed to see. Here I am splashing up the little thumbnail so that you know what's going on. Oh my gosh, Will Smith. So I saw an employee check the stub that he dropped. Oh, you saw an employee's check stub. Okay. He had been there for a month and was making what I made after my first year and was not a very good worker. I got a raise. Oh. It's interesting that, well, I guess it's a good thing that happened to you, so you should be glad that you saw that then. Number 16, about 9 years ago, there were a couple of notes scattered across the computer desk in my parents' study. I happened to read them because words are in front of my face. What am I going to do? They were notes my parents had written to each other instead of just talking to each other because my dad had slept with 14 hookers. Now, guys, we're going to go ahead and we're going to have a talk, guys. You sleep with a woman. Okay, it's pretty cool. Sleep with another woman. That's pretty rad, Another woman? Wow, dude. 3 women? Shit. That's like 3 different. That's like 3 vaginas, Let's step it up to 5, maybe 5 women. You know, that ain't that big a deal. But when you ice that cake with you paying to have to sleep with those women, that's kind of weird. You know what I mean? So double that now. We got 10 women. You know what I mean? I want you to count that out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 women you paid to slizzle up inside that slit plimple, you know, to floop jupe until you just spruce the noose. Oh my God, 14. That's almost triple the fav. Party of 5 times 3 minus 1. Number 15. But not 15, 14, you know what I mean? Number 15. My 6-year-old cousin asked me if I wanted some chewing gum. I said sure, if she has some. She then goes to her mother's purse and takes out 2 packages of Condom and asks me, what do you want, strawberries or banana? Next thing I know, I'm shoving Durex packages in her mother's purse saying, we should firstly ask your mom before going through her things. So the kid doesn't stop here. She takes the purse, goes in the kitchen where all the family was reunited, and asked her mother, Mom, can I have some gum? Her mom says she doesn't have any. The freaking girl takes the condoms out of the purse and says, sure you do. I want the strawberries one, please. Imagine her mother's, and you should have seen the look on her face. Number 14, man. God damn, you writing a novel? Oh my God. Oh my God. I want to die. I want to die. Let me... Okay, God, Jesus Christ. Number 14 on the list of things you weren't supposed to see. When I moved / was kicked out of my parents' house, I had nothing but my car and money in my pocket. In order to get my affairs in order, I needed my birth certificate and my social security ID. I asked my dad about them for weeks. But him being the dick that he is, he would not give them to me. I was 19 at the time. I wait until everyone's gone, go into the house, door was unlocked, and go to his office to get my paperwork. He kept it locked in a safe that had every family member's important paperwork in there, and I knew where the key was. I found what I needed, but I also saw something else in there. Bank receipts and paperwork going back about a year, that I now know was an approved application for a home equity loan for about $160,000. We always grew up thinking we had very little money, and I was working and paying for my own medical, car, food since I was 15. I paid for myself to go to school and all of my other expenses, and I got out of Dodge quick, but I called my mom about the whole situation on how I was trying to get money for books and rent because I only had about $50 to my name and financial aid was still processing. I told her I knew about the loan and that they had money because what other debt could they have? She was silent on the phone, but not because she knew I was right. She was stunned because this was the first she had heard of it. I told her I saw her signature on it, and she said she never signed anything. This led to a nasty divorce that lasted a year. It seemed my dad had quite the life outside of his family. He had been hiding money elsewhere and spending it on everybody but his wife and 3 kids. He went as far as to even have a nice brand new fucking BMW that he kept in storage and would swap out that one before heading to work, as well as changing into fucking expensive ass clothes. All in all, we found out that he had no less than 3 other kids with 3 different women, a handful of girlfriends on the side, vacations without us, and a bunch of other crap. Man, 3 women? How do you juggle that amount of families? This is making my stomach churn. Oh, God. Oh. Okay, he had a secret life and kept it quiet for nearly 20 years. In total, at the end of the divorce, through investigation and bank records, it came to light that he was making close to $300,000 a year. Wyatt Will full medical, none of us had it, and had bank close, and I had a banked close to $750,000 in a bank account that only he knew about. That was a decade ago. I continued with my life, got married and kids, and I'm now really close with everybody in my family but my father, and he is not welcome in my house or near my children. I found out just recently that he is married again to the woman who signed for my mom on the loan that I saw that blew open the cover of his life. Sorry for the long rant. Yeah, this is all just an edit, none of which I'm reading. In your face, guys. Number 13 on the list of 50 things you weren't supposed to see. Ooh. I'm so sorry. Something's legit wrong with me. It's not even like this is too long. It's just like something's wrong with me and I may need to get out of here. But I'll finish. Number 13. When I was about 4 or 5 years old, I watched Eddie Murphy, Raw, in its entirety around the corner from the living room while my parents were watching it. I was super quiet. They were laughing their ass off, so they didn't notice. I learned all sorts of cool new words. Oh yeah. And a lifelong love of leather jumpsuits. Uh-oh. Number 12. I was about 8 or 9 and my parents were going to be out of town, so they had me and my siblings stay with a family from our church. Once we got to the house, which was really nice by the way, they had one rule: you can play wherever you want, but the basement is off limits. Me, being the little bastard that I was, snuck down there first chance I got and was supremely disappointed to only find rows and rows of plants growing under lights. This is boring as hell, I thought. Sorry, I added that, but you know it was marijuana. But you know it was marijuana, y'all. Yeah, that's my kind of church. Number 11. A long time friend of mine's dad was showing me pictures of a car he was restoring. He accidentally pulled up nude pics of my friend's mom instead. He looked awkward for a moment. He never said anything, and then just started looking at car pics like it never happened. He wanted you to see. Number 10. I'm sure everyone can add the nudity of a friend to the list, so I'll skip that. Spoiler alert. I learned at 6 that Santa was not really bringing me presents that when I had my door cracked open on Christmas Eve. Nigga. Who upvoted a Santa one to number 10 on this list? I used to work nights at a manufacturing plant, says number 9. I went to the bathroom one night, picked out my favorite stall, and sat on the toilet to spend the next 10 minutes contemplating my life. After a few minutes, a male janitor walked in and started cleaning the bathroom. Another minute later, another male janitor came in to help. They were talking to each other in Spanish and then started kissing near the sinks. Not realizing anyone was in the bathroom, I just sat there silently for a while, not knowing what to do. After another minute or two of heavy kissing between the two, I decided to make a few noises so that they knew they weren't alone. My toilet seat creaked when I moved. They both stopped their romance session, looked at my stall, giggled, and ran out of the bathroom, leaving all of their cleaning stuff behind. I quickly cleaned up, flushed, and ran out. I actually never saw those same janitors again. Somebody responds, leaving all of their cleaning stuff behind. I quickly cleaned up. Somebody said, wow, that's really nice of you. I can't believe this idiot edited his post with all this bohemian. Oh my god. I'm so sorry. Like I'm losing it, and we need to get through this. I can't finish this. Oh boy. Number 8. When I was 14 and my friend hosted a birthday party at his house with all of the parents invited. Needed to use the restroom, but the main one was occupied, so my friend told me I can use the one in my mom's or his mom's bedroom. As I walked up to the door, I could hear somebody in there, so I decided to wait until whoever was in there was finished. A good 10 minutes later, my friend's mom, who was hosting the party, and another good friend's stepfather walked out and see me standing there all confused. They asked what I was doing there, and I just said I was waiting to use the bathroom. Surprisingly, they played it cool and said that I can use it now and walked off. Oh shit. Okay. Number 7. Freshman year of college. Walked into the kitchen area late night, and there's my girlfriend sitting on the counter, making out with one of my good friends. Oh. I just left quietly without them noticing and cut off all contact with both of them. So pretty sure I wasn't supposed to see that. That is so sad. Why do these all have to just be cheating now? This is so sad. Oh boy. Number 6. When I started a new job, someone had left a bunch of HR files on the computer I was given. I opened one up, not sure what it was, and I got to see every employee's salary in the company, even the CEO. The next day, it was gone. My boss realized his mistake and logged into my system and deleted the files. It was a memorable experience. Somebody said something similar happened twice to me. I'm not in HR, and I grabbed a binder off of a shelf that appeared to be empty and I was going to use for prepping an RFP. Printed Excel spreadsheets of every employee's salary. 5 years later, my boss sends me a budget spreadsheet for the entire team, including my peers. I'm making my own adjustments for the team, and I realize that there are hidden columns. Unhide, and that's what I have no idea how much of that sneeze was audible before I muted it, but it was one of the most violent sneezes I've ever had. Like, if the air that came out of me when I sneezed were actually projectiles, I'm sure that they could, like, be sent through a tree, is how fast and hardcore the miles per hour on that sneeze were. I'm bored with this one. We're continuing. Number 5. Oh, it's been gilded. Went to visit my grandma and grandpa. The front door was locked, so I went around through the back and found them gardening, totally naked. There's nothing. That's cute. They're out there in nature. It's hot, you know? That is adorable. They just letting themselves be free, you know, little hippies. Somebody says, my significant other's brother once walked in on his 75-plus-year-old grandparents having sex. I guess he wasn't expected to arrive until an hour or so later. The worst part was, instead of being embarrassed, the grandpa got out of bed and went in for a hug and shrugged, "What? It's natural. You should be happy we can still do it." I'm pretty sure he still has PTSD dreams about it to this day. Oh my God. Number 4, man. I was working part-time at a library for a school subject. I love that. One day, they made me enter the data for new books into the library's computer system. As I worked, I did something, don't know what, that made Windows Outlook display onto the PC screen, along with some emails by the librarian's director to my teacher and to the other librarians. The emails basically said that I was really good at my job and very hardworking, and that the collaboration would be very beneficial both for me and them. I wasn't supposed to read those messages, but they made me feel really happy. I'm sure like messages to follow would be like, "All right, look, this new kid's great, but he's too good. We're gonna have to kill him." Somebody said, finally someone who is not scarred. Give it time. He'll be scarred eventually. Number 3, as a middle schooler, I picked up a book at the library, flipped through the pages, and found an application for a replacement birth certificate for some old man. It had every detail about his personal identification on it, so naturally I took it home thinking, I'll just hold on to this in case I ever need to assume a fake identity by pretending to be an 80-year-old man and flee the country. My mom found it and I had to explain to me that no, we don't steal people's identities. man. Somebody said that's some Jason Bourne level of shit for a middle schooler. Oh, excellent. His identity is now mine. Number 2, my dad's bank account balance when I was 12 or less than 12. Stopped asking for money after that. Aww. Somebody says, "Aw, fuck, man. I'm sorry to hear. Bing bong." Somebody else responds, "Sounds like he was becoming awesome at that moment. Plenty of kids wouldn't have given a fuck and been mad about it." I want my McDonald's. Okay, guys, we made it. And I'm slowly dying here. Okay? We made it. Let's do this. Number 1 on the 50 things you weren't supposed to see. Oh boy. Fuck me. Let's just move this over a little bit to the left and we'll see what the fuck. Okay, there we go. Number 1. So I'm fresh out of school and taking a gap year before starting university. I'd managed to get a job working for the USAF at an airbase in the UK. Details of the job aren't important, my man. So about 2 a.m. on this particular night, in early 1988, the runway lights that are normally off come on briefly for perhaps 30 seconds, then go off. That's when I hear something clearly landing on the runway. And off to the right of the runway, one of the larger hangars opens its doors. It's pitch black, and the lights from the hangar is quite spectacular. That's when I see it. A small black triangular aircraft rolls straight into the hangar, and within seconds, the door closes behind it. This is my honest thought when I saw that. I was definitely not supposed to have seen that. I put my cigarette, hey, I was young and dumb, out and walked back into my building. A few weeks later, we got the first pictures of the F-117 Nighthawk, followed by a confirmation it existed. I smiled a little and thought to myself, I already knew about that. Listen, okay, when UFOs crash out of the air, and we go salvage them and backwards engineer some craft that, you know, we can survive in when it starts flying all over the place. You know, we come up with our own names for these things because they are new inventions, even if they were used with the parts of a ship that landed, you know what I'm talking about? And it's ours now, okay? Bing bong. Bing bong. Did you enjoy this list? I don't care, you know. I'm kidding. I love you. This list was here as a distraction to you, so hopefully whatever you're going back to now isn't the end of the world. Maybe I should stream after this, maybe not. Maybe I'm feeling like I'm dying right now, so I need to just end this list. Guys, love you to death, and I will see you. I'll see you soon, you know? Bing bong. What's going on in your life? Is everything fine? Jeez. Bye. Or, what do people say? No, put on a playlist of all of my videos and then go to sleep. Or have it running in a separate tab or something. That's what I want. Love you. Bye.